that I prefer like defenders.
I think it's like
Xhaka wants out. Vlahovic could be joining Arsenal. Declan Rice update. Musa Diaby and the rest of it. People deluded. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's get into the latest news, views, rumours and gossip concerning our football club. As I said, don't forget to smash the like button. I will be doing a watch along for Brighton against Arsenal on Sunday. It kicks off at 4:30, so I'll be live at 3:30. But that's for Sunday. Today, Friday, at the time making this video, wouldn't rule Arsenal out. Journalist says Edu could do a sensational deal for Arsenal this summer. Arsenal can't be ruled out of the race for Vlahovic this summer, according to Graham Bailey. He was speaking on a podcast. Allegedly, he says that Juventus will happily sell the player if they're able to recoup their 70 million euros, which equates to about 63 million pounds back for him. Aston Villa have been linked with him, as has Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, actually Spurs, etc., etc., people. We all know we've had an interest in him. It did not happen for whatever reason. Whether Arteta wants to go for a more physical striker is another thing. I do think Vlahovic is looked at with rose tints personally for those that may not watch him on a regular basis, but his general play is decent. He actually takes a mean free kick. Could improve in his hold-up play, but it's decent. And it will give us another option up front and another dimension heading into the Champions League. And a bit like Lisandro Martinez, Mudryk, players of that ilk who, Douglas Luiz, Caicedo, players that Rafinha, that Arteta wanted, but it didn't happen. We had to have been convinced on the man's talent. Even some reports, if you go back, we was looking at him in his days at Partizan, I believe. But for what it's worth, apparently, he really wants to come to England. The Premier League is a real option for Vlahovic. If you can give Juventus their money back, they'll take this deal. He could be the diamond in the rough hit there. If you get Vlahovic for 70 million euros, that could be a sensational deal. I wouldn't rule out Arsenal out either, guys. Remember that Arsenal loved him. Do you remember they came very close? And I still think Arsenal need a number 9 in their squad. I really do. I hear that, but I don't think there's anything other than that really and truly into that. So that's a bit disappointing. Moving on, Granit Xhaka backs away from Arsenal contract talks. Granit Xhaka will consider his Arsenal future this summer after backing away from contract talks, says 90 Minute. As you know, people, his contract expires next year, 2024, and he does have the option of extending it by a further year. Allegedly, negotiations over a fresh contract began early this year following his remarkable run of form, but with the Gunners keen to bring in at least one new midfielder and two in some reports in the summer transfer window. Sources have told 90 Minute that Xhaka will consider leaving North London this summer and he's backed away from contract talks. There are rumours he wants to go back to Germany due to family issues. Apparently his wife is yearning to return to Germany. Arsenal are unlikely to keep Xhaka against his will, and he's not short of suitors, with several Bundesliga sides interested in the 30-year-old people. So we'll have to see. And if he does join Bayer Leverkusen, they've had a bit of a resurgence under Xabi Alonso. Allegedly in 2020, of January of that year, he came close to moving to Hertha Berlin after obviously what happened at Arsenal, and there's been quite a redemption. So we'll have to see exactly how that develops. Granit Xhaka is being pursued by Bayer Leverkusen ahead of a summer move. Arsenal values Xhaka at 10 million euros, a bit cheap, isn't it? A figure Leverkusen do not like, and he's on paper, we've got an option, but in a couple of months you could talk to him for free, and are instead wanting a further discount before proceeding with their efforts to sign him. Let me know what you lot think on that. I mean, come on now. I know he's 29, but he's been ever present since the man signed here. He's in the best run of form he's probably been at the club in terms of collective opinion of fans. He's a valued member of Arteta's team. You know what he does in the Bundesliga. You can see what he's doing in the Premier League. One thing, for all of Xhaka's technical abilities, the man's never injured. I know literally on occasions he's been injured this season, and he's a vital member of the team. Come on, 10 million quid. You're acting, which is probably £8.5–9 million. Probably have to factor in the wages and the length of contract. I don't blame Bayer Leverkusen for wanting a potential discount. We should be doing the same. But come on, we've been linked with Mohamed Simakan as well, people, of RB Leipzig, formerly of Strasbourg, French defender. Apparently, according to Ed Aarons, understand that Arsenal is showing strong interest in RB Leipzig's Mohamed Simakan. The 23-year-old defender signed a new contract until 2027 in December, so it makes it harder to prize him away. can play as a right back as well as a right-sided centre-back. He's 23, and there's always something special in the water in France. I don't think he's amazing, but he's a relatively tidy player, so I wouldn't mind that. No clue why Kim Min Jae's name is trending at the time of making this video on Twitter, but that Napoli guy is another one I would like for the right-sided centre-back role to compete / deputise / dislodge Saliba or anyone. We need competition. Fabrizio Romano's also weighed in. Arsenal sent their scouts to follow Mohamed Simakan multiple times. He's appreciated as per Ed Aarons. Nothing advanced or imminent at this stage, but Simakan is one of the centre-backs monitored by the Arsenal board. Fair enough. Now, Declan Rice, we're going to be here all day, potentially. David Moyes has said, we honestly hope he stays. We'd love for him to be a West Ham player, but we're aware that might not be the case at the end of the season. So that's one of the scenarios around the plans. There are plans that we have with Dec here, but we're also fully aware there's a good chance we won't have him. First time David Moyes has spoken in blunt terms, really and truly. And everyone on their nan, you know, Mr. Ian Abrahams, he's saying he's going to Arsenal. That's what I've been told, he's going to Arsenal. I mean, as you saw with Cody Gakpo to United, and actually Mudryk of January this year to Arsenal, until the man's holding an Arsenal shirt saying he loves the club, etc., anything is up for debate. And he's been linked with a whole host of clubs. Simon Jordan has said, this argument rages. I have mentioned it a number of times about the difficulty I have with suggesting he's worth 100 million. Of course, he's a great central midfielder. Of course, he's got bags of potential. I find it difficult to see. Personally, I think it's the price tag, not £100 million player. He's not, but the least he could do if he is signed for a fee like that is just play well, improve Arsenal, and keep improving as a player. So at least nobody cares about the price tag, really, when you're doing your job. Off topic with Declan Rice for a second, Zubimendi has weighed in on Barcelona and Arsenal links. I've never planned to leave Real Sociedad. I always say I love life here at home. I'm so happy here. The value of this club are the same as mine, so I feel very good. I've always said that I'm happy. Allegedly, that's what he's to have said. Ben Jacobs has said Arsenal are looking for a midfielder, and Declan Rice remains one of the top priorities. Rice has spoken glowingly about both Arteta and Arsenal. I'm still told he prefers to stay in London too, which both Arsenal and Chelsea can use to advantage. He says he prefers. I mean, if Pep Guardiola, which we're going to get into, has been linked with City or a club as big as Man United come for you, and other Chelsea are not able to agree a fee or Arsenal, these are step-ups from West Ham, so I wouldn't leverage too much on that, but it is an advantage. And until we sign the guy, anything's up for debate, really. Again, he's been linked with Manchester United. They've always probably had an interest in him. You know, he could be groomed to take over from Casemiro, deputise with him, give them another midfield option. For me, anyways, United links have really intensified off the back of West Ham and Man United playing each other. Arsenal are still allegedly regarded as the midfielder's likeliest destination, but Man United intend to rival Arsenal for Declan Rice. Maybe London, maybe us being ahead of our project, maybe Champions League football could tip the balance. Arsenal's hopes could be hit if a bidding war for Rice develops. That is going to happen, with West Ham indicating they want at least 100 million for their captain. Arsenal could be reluctant to reach those figures, and there are growing indications that United are planning to step up their interest, people. We'll have to see exactly what is being said there, people. Apparently, United could need to sell players to compete for him, but their interest is growing. Apparently, Arsenal are as interested, and so United for that, as much as Chelsea. So we'll have to see how what exactly happens, people, in that regards. West Ham are paying close attention to how much Borussia Dortmund receive if they sell Jude Bellingham. Chelsea have been monitoring Rice, but unlikely to buy him. Newcastle have the funds to enter the race and could be an attractive proposition if they qualify for the Champions League. That's why you're seeing them linked with things. Newcastle are doing big things. Ray Parlour believes, you know, we haven't seen the best version of Declan Rice yet, and he believes Arsenal is the ideal scenario for him. With going to Arsenal, Rice, might get a little bit more of the ball. He might be able to get forward a bit more. When you're playing and you're down the bottom, you might have to defend a little bit more as a midfielder. So we might not have seen the best of him yet, where he can get forward a little bit more, because he's a good footballer as well. People say, well, he's a holding midfielder. I don't like the sound of that. I like box-to-box midfielders who can get forward and score goals, also defend when they have to, using that little bit of common sense. If your partner alongside you sees you're running forward, and maybe he hasn't got that at West Ham because he's got other players who have been more attacking minded, I think that's great comments, really. Once again, United are allegedly interested. You read some reports Manchester City intend to get in for him, and to be honest, if Manchester City offer him plus Calvin Phillips on loan or permanently, I reckon West Ham jump at that, if I'm honest with you. Moving away from that, Luis Openda, who plays for Lens, Lens, people, and doing quite well, the 23-year-old Belgium. Apparently, he's drawing interest from Aston Villa and also Arsenal, really. Apparently, alongside Openda, Arsenal also retain an interest in Vlahovic, who's keen to move to the Premier League after a difficult first full season at Juventus, people, allegedly. So we're going to have to take that with a pinch of salt. Got so many tabs. Arsenal have been linked with Nottingham Forest winger Brendan Johnson. I don't buy that at all. Tottenham Hotspur have been linked with him as well. Make of that what you will. Apparently, Arsenal transfer target expected to move, but asking price could rise even higher. Apparently, French football expert Jonathan Johnson has discussed the latest Arsenal transfer rumours involving Moussa Diaby. Moussa Diaby continues to be linked with Arsenal. Smash the like button, people. And their interest doesn't surprise me, nor does the talk of a fee of around 50 million being enough to prize him away from Leverkusen this summer. Diaby has developed well with Leverkusen, and it might even be that the price tag will creep up if they reach the Europa League final as well. True, but he's contracted until 2024. So within the next 2 years, they're going to have to sell him. And he might stay put. He's got Euros to think about with France. In terms of the RB situation, it seemed for some time now that this could be the summer he moves. Paris Saint-Germain were linked with a move to bring him back to the French capital, but that now seems unrealistic given the fee they sold him for in comparison to how much he's worth now. I do think his kind of talent and consistency that we've seen from him in Bundesliga in the last few years would justify a fee in the region of 50 million euros. So clubs would do well to get him for around something of that figure. The expectation is that Diaby will now get a big European club, and there's a lot of interest from the Premier League, not just from Arsenal, but Newcastle as well. Apparently, they've met with a number of players' advisors in Saudi Arabia. If you look at Newcastle rumours, he's definitely one to watch, and it has the potential to be a good few months ahead for him if he can guide Leverkusen to the Europa League final and then get a big move. Once again, Arsenal and Newcastle are monitoring developments, people. Arsenal are unlikely to break the bank to tie down Reece Nelson. They want to keep hold of him this summer, but are not willing to budge on their contract offer so far. Again, it's probably a bit of gamesmanship being played, people. He has rejected the first contract offer. Allegedly, we're in the driving seat to sign Moussa Diaby, people, but there's competition all over Europe, so we'll have to see what is going on. Apparently, a move to England looks inevitable at this point for the red-hot Moussa Diaby. As things stand, it's Arsenal who lead the way in the race for his signature, with Newcastle hot on their heels. Now, we need to remember, all these journalists are just adding their 2 pence, essentially, so nobody knows anything. Arsenal to move for 2 more Manchester City stars this summer. Really, City are not going to sell us nothing, man. Let's be honest. According to Spanish outlet Sport, Arsenal are extremely interested in adding Gundogan to the squad when the City captain's deal expires. And, you know, I'm pretty sure you've seen my vid. Check that out if you haven't. But we've been linked with Cancelo. Barcelona and Real Madrid have today as well. So for obvious reasons, it's easy to link us with 2 areas that we need to bring in, a right back and a centre mid. Obviously, Gundogan and Cancelo. Gundogan's contract is running down. Cancelo, probably future is done over there at Manchester City. So it's easy, on top of the fact that we've done business with them last summer. We've been linked with a right back again, and it's Galatasaray Sasha Boy. Apparently, Arsenal initiate contact for signing would be a dream move for the 22-year-old. We have seen this before. It's claimed the Premier League side are now seriously interested in securing the defender's services in the next window. They're not alone, as Sporting, Udinese and Lyon are also chasing the Frenchman. Arsenal and Boy's other suitors have taken further steps, as the report says. They've already contacted the Turkish club for the fullback. At Sam, don't mention the fee needed to take Boy away from Galatasaray. Even though Sporting, Udinese and Lyon are in the mix, Arsenal could have an advantage, as the player has already admitted he dreams of moving to the Premier League, and he'd probably earn a lot more money. Once again, people, we've been linked with someone from Bayern Leverkusen. I don't buy this, but Arsenal and Newcastle are set to do battle again, along with Bayern Munich and Milan for Leverkusen's Amin Adli, people. We've been linked with him. He's 20 million cheaper than Moussa Diaby at 30 million quid. It's easy to link us with wingers because, again, winger up front, these are areas that we're looking to improve. So we'll have to see really and truly what is exactly being said there. Arsenal, in relation to Arsenal, 53 million star keeps cropping up as Declan Rice alternative. Arsenal have identified Spanish gem Zubimendi as a potential Declan Rice alternative, says Dean Jones, people. He keeps cropping up. I haven't heard too much about it recently, so it's one of those we're going to have to dig deeper into as we get closer to the window. However, it is for sure that Rice is not the only person on their list, which he shouldn't, and a few leaks are coming out about other names that Arsenal might pursue if that one doesn't work out. We've been relinked with Ruben Neves, we've been linked with Lavia, Zubimendi. There's probably Gundogan now and a couple of others. Arsenal are keeping tabs on Kyle Walker-Peters. He's able to play left back and right back. He came through that excuse of a football team that also are placed in North London, but it could make sense really and truly. Arsenal are reportedly keeping tabs on Kyle Walker-Peters, people, who used to play for Spurs. So we've seen that before. maybe that's something, especially if Southampton go down. Once again, we've been linked with Gundogan, would love it. If I was him, I wouldn't entertain it. Arsenal doing all they can to stop Ethan Nwaneri joining Manchester City, the talented 16-year-old who's obviously made his debut already and doesn't turn 17 until next year, people. Crazy players, wanted by Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Do you know what? If he wants to stay. I think he's got potential to reach the first team. If he doesn't, just keep it moving, innit? Really and truly. It's as simple as that, if I'm completely honest. To kind of wrap this live stream up, please make sure you're subscribing and smashing the like button. Help the YouTube algorithm push our platform out there, people. If we look at what Goal.com has had to say, apparently João Felix is interested in joining Arsenal next season. You have seen some reports yesterday that he wants to stay in the Premier League but play for a club within the Champions League, so which Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester City potentially, United or Liverpool, depending on who gets a Champions League spot as well. We've talked about Simakan. We've touched on Cancelo as well. People, make sure you're checking out the other videos that I'm sure are popping up as this one goes on. Ramsdale is close to a new long-term contract at Arsenal. Apparently, people, Zubamendi has said, I've never planned to leave Sociedad. I always say I love life here at home. I'm so happy. The value of this club are the same as mine, so I feel very good. I've always said that I'm happy. Several clubs across Europe are monitoring Reece Nelson. Saka is set to sign a new deal until 2028. There's some rumours he's in line to earn 300k a week. Maybe if all variables are hit, Arsenal are interested in Ruben Neves. He's been apparently offered once again to Barcelona, plus money in addition to trying to sign Ansu Fati. You've also heard that Barcelona's board are pushing for this and Xavi's against it, so we'll have to monitor that. We've touched on Xhaka. Barcelona allegedly are willing to sell Rafinha. Juventus have joined Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, AC Milan and Newcastle United in trying to go for the young, talented right-back of Real Valladolid, Ivan Fresnadar, who a few weeks ago says he watches the Premier League, he likes Arsenal, he likes Mikel Arteta. We're keen on Ferran Torres. We're very close to securing Zubamendi's signature, if you believe this. We're ready to break the bank this summer. We've identified the RB as a top target. So yeah, people, make of that what you will. Let me know your thoughts on everything discussed throughout this live stream. Please, please, please make sure you're subscribing, you're turning your notifications on, and you're smashing the like button. Happy weekend. Stay blessed, stay safe. Appreciate you lot for supporting my content, whether you're, someone that's been here all the time or a new one. Thank you very much. Without you lot, it's not possible. So yeah, one love. Stay blessed, stay safe, stay in great health, and I'll see you lot soon. Bye.
Because you always use that active red light, defending.
I think it's like